On Saturday, former Vice President Mike Pence announced that he was making the pro-choice and aborting his non-viable presidential campaign after just 4 months. So, kind of seems like he was in a situation where he had to make a tough decision, but he was allowed to make that decision for himself to not continue on with what was not right for him. The same thing, by the way, that Mike Pence obviously wants to deny to millions of women across the country. So I'm not going to shed a tear for Mike Pence dropping out of the presidential race. And I'll tell you who else isn't shedding a tear. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Tim Scott, and of course Donald Trump himself. But here's the thing, Donald Trump is not the one who is going to benefit from Mike Pence dropping out of this race. Because the support that Pence had, he wasn't sucking it away from Donald Trump. It was coming from people like Nikki Haley, DeSantis, and possibly even Tim Scott. But if I had to put, a real winner, I would say it's probably Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has been rising in the polls recently as, of course, Ron DeSantis continues to fall. And Pence having looking at the polls, maybe 7 to 10% generously in the polls. If that support now moves over to Nikki Haley, not only does she command a strong second place above Ron DeSantis, but it would give her momentum, right? You see a sudden shift of 8 points in the polls. Suddenly you seem like a more viable candidate. You can attract more donors, and the voters look at you as a real possible option at that point. So if the bulk of Pence's support moves over to somebody like Nikki Haley, she suddenly finds herself in a much stronger position heading into the Iowa caucuses that are set to begin in just 2.5 months now. Now, again, that's not to say that she's anywhere near being a threat to Donald Trump. It just means it puts her at a better chance of maybe one day becoming a threat to Donald Trump. She definitely is not that right now. But it is worth talking about Pence's failed campaign just in general, right? We're dealing with a guy who for 4 years was vice president of the United States. He was a governor of Indiana. He was a member of Congress. This guy's resume, forget his horrible policies, okay? I hate everything Mike Pence stands for. But on paper, this guy looked like the perfect candidate for Republicans, right? He's got the strong religious background, the anti-abortion stance, and all that stupid talk. But he's also a very good speaker. I mean, in the debates, like the vice presidential debates, he did not do poorly. He did very well, except when the fly landed on his head, and that was weird, but that was beyond his control, I think. But either way, 10 years ago, Pence would have been the ideal Republican candidate. But today, in today's Republican Party, what it has morphed into, even a guy like Mike Pence cannot survive. It doesn't matter if you check every single box on those conservative credentials, which Mike Pence did. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you've been vice president for 4 years, you served as governor of a state, you served in Congress, you know how the political machine works. None of that matters anymore on the Republican side. The only thing that matters is, do you love Donald Trump enough? And that is, of course, the one box that Mike Pence simply couldn't check. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.